The words sliced through the murmur of the restaurant like a blade through silk, leaving me breathless and exposed. Maxwell, I've wanted to tell you this for months. I am falling for you. My boss, Ethan Hale, leaned forward across the linen-draped table, his voice a low rumble that drowned out the clink of silverware and the jazz quartet in the corner, his eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made my heart stutter like a faulty engine. I froze, the tiramisu spoon halfway to my lips, the creamy sweetness forgotten as a rush of heat flooded my cheeks. Ethan, the man who'd mentored me through every corporate ladder rung at Hale Innovations in downtown Chicago, was confessing love, not admiration, not camaraderie, but the kind that twisted your insides and rewired your world. In that suspended moment, under the soft glow of pendant lights in this upscale Italian spot on Michigan Avenue, I saw not my unflappable superior, but a man unraveling, just like me. The air between us thickened, charged with the weight of unspoken years. I'd idolized Ethan since day one, his sharp intellect, the way he commanded boardrooms with a quiet authority that masked deeper storms. At 28, I'd clawed my way into this junior analyst role fresh out of grad school, hiding my own truths behind spreadsheets and late-night emails. Gay in a world that still whispered judgments, I'd buried my desires under ambition, convinced love was a luxury for those without deadlines. But Ethan, he was the straight-arrow executive, married once briefly in his 20s, now single and seemingly untouchable. Or so I'd thought. My mind reeled back to that first interview 2 years ago. Rain-slicked streets outside the Loop's gleaming towers. Me fidgeting in a too-stiff suit. Heart pounding as Ethan extended his hand, firm, warm, lingering a beat too long. Maxwell Reed, he'd said, scanning my resume with those piercing blue eyes. You've got fire in these numbers. Let's see if you can handle the heat here. I'd laughed it off, chalked the spark up to nerves, but it had simmered ever since. Stolen glances during strategy sessions, his hand brushing mine over shared documents. The late office nights where we'd order Thai takeout and debate market forecasts until the city lights blurred. Now, here we were, on what he'd called a team-building dinner to celebrate closing the quarter's biggest deal. I'd arrived skeptical, dressed in my best chinos and a slim-fit shirt that hugged my runner's build, expecting shop talk over veal parmigiana. Instead, after the main course, his stories of climbing from a small-town Iowa kid to tech mogul, my guarded tales of growing up in Milwaukee's conservative suburbs, the conversation had veered intimate. He'd asked about my family, my dreams beyond the corner office. I'd mentioned my sister's wedding last summer, how I'd stood as best man, smiling through the ache of what I couldn't have. And then, as the waiter cleared plates and presented dessert menus, he'd gone quiet, tracing the rim of his espresso cup. Max, he'd murmured, using the nickname that always sent a secret thrill through me. There's something I need to say before this night ends. The way his voice cracked Ethan Hale, the unbreakable, unlocked something in me. I nodded, pulse racing, as he reached across, his fingers grazing my knuckles. Not pulling away. You're not just my protege. You're the one who makes this chaotic world make sense. The one I think about when the office empties and the silence creeps in. I swallowed hard, the restaurant fading to a hazy backdrop. Ethan, words failed, tangled in the fear of repercussions. What if this shattered everything? My career, the fragile life I'd built post coming out to a handful of friends, but not the world at large. Yet beneath the panic, a traitorous hope bloomed, warm and insistent, because I'd felt it to the pull. The what-ifs that haunted my solitary evenings in my Wicker Park apartment. He withdrew his hand slowly, regret shadowing his features. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. It's unprofessional. Forget I said anything. But his eyes pleaded otherwise. Raw with the confession's aftershock. The waiter arrived then, breaking the spell with a flourish of chocolate-dipped strawberries and balsamic glaze. We ate in charged silence, each bite a countdown to decision. As the check came, Ethan slid his card over without looking, then met my gaze again. Walk with me. The lake's just a block away. The October wind off Lake Michigan whipped sharp against our faces as we strolled the waterfront path. The city skyline a glittering fortress behind us. Leaves crunched underfoot, gold and crimson under the sodium lamps. I shoved hands into pockets, battling the urge to bridge the gap. Ethan, wait. He stopped, turning, the vulnerability from earlier etched deeper in the moonlight. You can't drop that and expect me to pretend. I've admired you more than professionally. For a long time. His breath hitched, a smile ghosting his lips tentative. Like dawn breaking. Yeah. We closed the distance then. Not touching, but near enough to feel the heat radiating. The confession hung between us. No longer a grenade, but a bridge. That night, under the stars reflected on the dark water, we talked not as boss and employee, but as two men navigating the same hidden currents. He shared his divorce's quiet unraveling, the realization in therapy that his ex's leaving had forced him to face his bisexuality, long suppressed in boardroom battles. I confessed my first crush in high school, the rejection that taught me walls were safer than hearts. By the time we reached my building, the air hummed with possibility. At the door, he cupped my cheek, thumb brushing my jaw. Can I see you again? Not as your boss's Ethan. My yes was a whisper, sealing the shift. We kissed then, tentative at first, then deepening with the pent-up force of unspoken months. His lips firm and tasting of espresso and courage. Mine yielding to the truth I denied. It was messy, exhilarating, the start of something that terrified and thrilled in equal measure. But dawn brought reality crashing back. Monday morning, Ethan's office door loomed like a guillotine as I clocked in, coffee in hand. Stomach knotted. The team buzzed with post-deal high fives. Oblivious. He nodded curtly in the hall, professional mask intact, but his eyes held a private spark. Good weekend. Read. The double entendre made my neck flush. We navigated the week like tightrope Walker's stolen coffee breaks in the stairwell, his texts lighting my phone with memes and inside jokes. By Friday, he invited me to his Lincoln Park brownstone for strategy planning, code for the evening we'd both craved. His place was a revelation, sleek mid-century lines softened by bookshelves groaning with sci-fi novels and indie records. A bay window overlooking tree-lined streets. We cooked pasta carbonara from a recipe his mom sent, laughter bubbling as flour dusted his shirt. Over wine on the leather couch. Barriers crumbled further. He traced the scar on my knuckle from a childhood bike crash, asking about the boy who'd bandaged it. I learned of his Iowa farm roots, the closet he'd built young to fit small-town molds. That night blurred into tenderness, his hands mapping my skin with reverence. Whispers of want and worthiness. In his arms, doubts quieted. I was seen, desired, not as the analyst or the hidden queer kid, but as Maxwell. We moved slow, savoring, bodies sinking like we'd rehearsed in dreams. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he murmured against my temple. This isn't a fling. I mean idyll of it. Yet shadows lingered. Whispers in the office grew, colleagues noting our chemistry. HR policies on fraternization a specter. Ethan's ex, a sharp-tongued lawyer, texted him midweek, stirring old insecurities. You're playing with fire. Ethan. He's young. Ambitious, didn't drag him down. My own family, oblivious in Milwaukee, planned a holiday visit, forcing questions of disclosure. The kitchen built like a storm, A late-night argument when a rival exec poached our client. Ethan's stress fracturing our bubble. I can't lose you to this job. I snapped. But I can't lose the job to us. He pulled me close. Fierce. Then we fight for both. It was our vow. Sealed in a rain-soaked kiss outside the office. Thunder rumbling approval. Weeks melted into a rhythm of stolen intimacies brunch at hidden cafes in Andersonville, where rainbow flags fluttered like promises. Weekend hikes in the Indiana dunes. Hands linked on trails where no one knew our names. Ethan taught me to sail on his small catamaran off Navy Pier. Wind whipping our laughter as we tacked against choppy waves. Trust the wind. Max, he'd say, arm around my waist. And trust me. In those moments, the world narrowed to us. The corporate grind a distant hum. But cracks spiderwebbed. A team-building retreat in the Wisconsin Northwoods forced proximity without privacy. Sharing a cabin, we feigned separate bunks. Hearts pounding through thin walls as colleagues snored. One night, after esmores by the fire pit, a tipsy VP cornered Ethan. Hail. You and Reed spill. He's got that glow. Ethan's deflection was smooth. But later, in the shadowed boathouse, he confessed the fear gnawing him. What if they find out? I built this company from nothing, scandals could tank it. I pressed my forehead to his, tasting salt from unshed tears. Then we built something new. Together. It was raw. Vulnerable, the first time I'd voiced the future aloud. He kissed me then. Desperate. Hands fisting my hoodie as if anchoring against the tide. Back in Chicago, the gay can escalated. An anonymous email hit Ethan's inbox. Grainy photos from our lakeside walk. Timestamped. Captioned, careful with company policy. Panic surged blackmail. Sabotage from a jealous underling. We huddled in his office after hours. Blinds drawn. Piecing theories. It's Carlson. I guessed. The smarmy sales lead who'd eyed my promotion. Ethan nodded grimly. Dialing his PI contact. We'll handle this quietly. The investigation unearthed Carlson's grudge passed over for lead on the deal I'd helped seal. But the leak spread whispers. Office gossip mills churning Hale's favorite into something sinister. My performance reviews, once glowing, drew nitpicks. Invitations to key meetings dried up. Isolation clawed at me. Nights alone in my apartment replaying doubts. Was I the ruin of us? Ethan's late calls soothed. But exhaustion etched his face. Our lovemaking turning frantic. Seeking solace in skin. Then, the emotional gut punch. My parents announced an early Thanksgiving visit. Mom's voice bright over the phone. Bring that boss of yours. Max. Sounds like a keeper from your stories. Guilt twisted like a knife I'd painted Ethan as mentor. Not lover. Coming out to them at 22 had been a tearful phone call. Met with stunned silence, then halting support. But this. Workplace romance with power imbalance. It could shatter their fragile acceptance. I broke down in Ethan's kitchen that night. Chopping onions for risotto as excuse for tears. They'll think I'm using you. Or you're using me. He set the knife aside. Enveloping me from behind. Chin on my shoulder. Let me meet them. As your partner. If you're ready. The offer hung heavy. A leap into the unknown. We talked till midnight. Mapping scripts. Worst cases. His own family distant after the divorce offered no blueprint. But his resolve mirrored mine. Love demanded bravery. The visit arrived amid falling snow. My folks bundling into O'Hare from Milwaukee. Ethan picked us up in his SUV. Charming in cable knit and slacks. Regaling Dad with Packers tales over the drive. At my place now, ours, with his toothbrush and the holder awkwardness peaked over pot roast. Mom eyed our synced glances. Dad grunted questions about company ethics. Then, post pie. As dishes clattered, Ethan cleared his throat. Mr. and Mrs. Reed. Maxwell means the world to me. More than work. I love him. Silence blanketed the room. Thicker than gravy. Mom's fork paused midair. Eyes welling. Dad's jaw tightened. Then softened. Son. He rumbled, clapping Ethan's shoulder. If you make him happy, that's metric enough. Hugs followed. Tentative then tight. The air lightening like post-storm sky. In bed later, Ethan whispered, proud of you. His touch a balm on frayed nerves. But triumph soured swiftly. The next week, Carlson escalated, a HR complaint filed anonymously, alleging favoritism and inappropriate relations. The board summoned Ethan, suits circling like sharks. I paced my cubicle, phone silent, dread coiling. When he emerged, face ashen, he pulled me into the supply closet ironic sanctuary. Suspension pending investigation. They want my resignation if it's true. Rage and fear warred in me. Fight it. We have proof mails. Alibis. He cupped my face, thumb tracing my lip. I will. But Max, if it comes to choosing. His voice broke. It's you. Always. We clung there, amid reams of paper and stale coffee scent, vowing resilience. The probe dragged. Weeks of depositions and averted eyes. Allies emerged our team's quiet support. A queer intern slipping me morale-boosting notes. Ethan and I retreated to a cabin upstate. Snowed-in haven where we rebuilt, snowball fights dissolving into slow dances by the fireplace. Confessions deepening. I was scared of this, he admitted, tracing constellations on my back. Loving someone enough to risk it all. I kissed his collarbone. Worth every scar. Resolution loomed like a verdict. The board's hearing in Ethan's sleek conference room felt like trial by fluorescent. I testified last. Voice steady despite the knot in my throat. Ethan's guidance built my skills, not favoritism. Our relationship formed outside work. Mutual and honest. Carlson's cross-examination sneered. But his bluster cracked under scrutiny, his own ethics violations unearthed. The complaint a desperate ploy. By week's end. Vindication, Carlson terminated. Ethan cleared with a stern, disclose future relationships memo. Relief washed us in waves. Celebrated with champagne on his balcony. City lights winking congratulations. But scars lingered, trust fragile. Ambitions tempered. What now? I asked. Head on his chest. Heartbeat sinking ours. We live it. He replied. Simple as breath. Out and proud. Spring bloomed, mirroring our thaw. We attended pride parades hand in hand. Rainbow flags a banner over past hidings. Ethan mentored queer interns, weaving inclusivity into Hale Innovations fabric. I pursued an MBA part-time. His encouragement my windfall. Family ties strengthened me, sister's wedding invite extended to plus Ethan, where he twirled her on the floor, earning uncle teases for future nieces. Yet drama wasn't done. Ethan's ex, Vanessa, resurfaced at a gala elegant in emerald silk. Champagne flute in hand. Heard you're out. She purred, eyes raking me. Hope you're worth the empire. Her barbs masked hurt. But Ethan shut it down. We both deserved better. Move on. Later. In the limo home. He laughed it off. But insecurity flickered. She saw me as a phase. What if? I silenced him with a kiss. Fierce. I'm your forever. Not a footnote. Lovemaking that night was reclaiming slow. Affirming. Bodies a testament to chosen truths. Summer brought heat and hurdles. A major client pulled out, citing internal distractions. Whispers linking to our story. Stress peaked. Ethan snapped during a pitch, retreating to his study for days. I gave space, then breached it with a care package, his favorite IPA. A playlist of our songs. A note. Were the deal worth closing? He emerged humbled, pulling me into a marathon talk fears of failure. Bisexuality's lingering stigma. Sometimes I wonder if I'm enough for you. All in. You're everything. I vowed. And we redesigned boundaries, therapy sessions together. Date nights mandatory. Romance reignited in stolen Oasis sunset cruise on the Chicago River. His proposal of a joint trip to Provincetown. Cape Cod in fall leaves. Lobster. Us. Packing became foreplay. Anticipation electric. But the gay can twist it anew. During a routine physical, my doc flagged fatigue blood work revealed early HIV markers from a pre-Ethan hookup. Undetected. Panic clawed. Tears soaked the exam table. How do I tell him? The nurse hugged me. With truth. He's in this with you. Home. Ethan cooked stir-fry. Humming off-key. I blurted it over plates. Voice cracking. I might be positive. Testing next week. His fork stilled. Then he was around the table, holding me as sobs racked. We'll face it. Meds. Doctors together. No pity. Just steel-willed love. Results confirmed low viral load. Treatable. His research binges rivaled work projects. You're not defined by this. He insisted. An invulnerability. Our bond forged unbreakable. Fall deepened colors. Mirroring growth. At a queer film fest in Boys Town, we watched stories of hidden loves. Hands entwined. Like us. I whispered. He squeezed. Better ours. Holiday lights twinkled as we hosted my family. Ethan carving turkey with Dad. Mom quizzing him on recipes. Laughter filled spaces once tense. Winter's cusp brought the pinnacle. Ethan's quiet proposal on New Year's Eve. Knee in snow by the bean. Ring simple platinum. Maxwell Reed. Build empires with me. Hearts and homes. Tears froze on lashes. My yes echoed over Millennium Park. Engagement news rippled off his cheers. Family toasts. Carlson's shadow. Forgotten footnote. Through trials health scares. Career quakes. Societal side-eye-sweed unearthed humanity's core, love as rebellion. Confession as liberation. Ethan's words that desert night. Not end, but Genesis. In each other's gaze. We found not perfection, but profound enough. The engagement whirlwind swept us into a blur of plans and revelations. Brunch with my best friend. Lila, fiery lesbian graphic designer who'd sniffed out my crush on Ethan years prior, turned into ring-ogling and tearful hugs. Finally, she crowed, sketching napkin doodles of our ceremony. Vows with kick-ass queer officiant. Rainbow aisle runners. Ethan's input. A nod to his roots Midwest barn venue. Wildflowers over orchids. But beneath joy, undercurrents stirred. Ethan's board pushed expansion to Silicon Valley. Tempting with equity bumps. It'd mean relocating. He broached over takeout falafel. I searching. My gut twisted. Chicago's grit had shaped me. Friends woven tight. Together or not at all. I countered. Debates stretched nights. Pros cons listed like battle strategies. Ultimately, compromise, remote hybrid. Me finishing MBA here while he jetted west quarterly. No empires without us. He sealed with a kiss. Spring's thaw mirrored thawing fears. My HIV management stabilized undetectable. Untransmittable. A quiet victory Ethan celebrated with a custom necklace, intertwined infinity symbols. Engraved undivided. Wearing it grounded me during campus lectures, where I'd glance at texts from him, crushing that econ seminar. Miss your brain and the rest. Romance laced every day, picnics in Grant Park. His head in my lap as I read poetry. Cooking classes where we'd sabotage each other's sauces. Ending in flour-dusted makeouts. Yet kitsch tin lurked in microaggressions, a client's offhand lifestyle choice, jab during a pitch. Ethan's measured clapback earning my pride. "You're my hero," I murmured later, rewarding him thoroughly. Summer solstice brought a curveball, Ethan's estranged brother, Jordan, surfaced after a decade's radio silence. A drifter turned recovery counselor in Seattle. He emailed, "Heard you're getting hitched. Iowa boys tying the knot, mind if I witness." Ethan paled reading it. Old wounds reopening, Jordan's coming out in their teens. Dad's rejection driving him away. He blames me for not fighting harder. Ethan confessed. Voice raw. I advocated mercy. Invite him. Heal what you can. The airport reunion was fraught, awkward hugs. Jordan's tattooed arms contrasting Ethan's polish. Over beers at a dive in Pilsen. Stories poured, shared boyhood pranks. The night Jordan fled after a homophobic slur from kin. You stayed. Built walls. Jordan said. Not accusation, but fact. Ethan teared up. I hid too long. But Max showed me out's better. Brotherhood mended tentative. Jordan staying for Pride weekend. Marching with us. Sign aloft, family found. August heat wave amplified tensions elsewhere. Lila's gallery show clashed with our venue scout. Forcing choices. I snapped at Ethan over a missed call, priorities. Regret instant. He arrived at my door with gelato. I soft. You're my priority. Always. Apology sex turned soul-bearing. Fear losing Thesusto life's pull. Vows renewed silently. Bodies affirming commitment. Fall foliage framed our bachelor party guy's trip to Door County. Kayaking emerald waters. Bonfire truths. Ethan's toast slurred sentimental. To Max, who turned my solo sail into tandem. Laughter masked my swell of love. Later whispering in our cabin, eternity's too short. Wedding eve. Nerves jangled. Rehearsal dinner at a Logan Square farm-to-table. Families mingling, me folks beaming. Ethan's mom flying in. Widowed but warm. Jordan's speech cracked us. Ethan, you were my shield. Now, be Max's sword. Tears flowed. I pulled Ethan aside. Foreheads touching. Ready. His grin, born for this. Dawn broke crisp. Ceremony at a restored barn outside Madison Oak, beams arching like blessings. Wild asters nodding. I waited at the altar, heart thundering, as Ethan appeared in slim tux. Blue eyes locked. Vows we wrote, mine. You saw my hidden colors. Coaxed them bold. In your light. I found my truest north. Rings exchanged. Kiss ceiling cheers erupted. Confetti swirling. Reception danced into dusk, first spin to at last. Etta James crooning our story. Toast toasted resilience, Lila's quip. From boardroom to bedroom. Nailed it. Cake smash led to sweet revenge. Frosting kisses. As stars pricked sky, we slipped away to a hayloft suite. World fading to whispers and touches. Husband. He breathed. Ring glinting. Forever. Honeymoon in Provincetown beaches. Bike rides. Whale watches wove leisure with legacy. We volunteered at a youth center, sharing coming out tales to wide-eyed teens. Love's the bravest plot twist. I told one boy. Ethan's hand in mine affirming. Back home. Married life unfolded organic, merging closets. Adopting a rescue mutt named Scout. Challenges persisted, a merger flop testing tempers. Health check-ins routine, but rote. Yet each hurdle honed us. Date nights mandatory. Annual confession dinners, ritual. Recreating that first tiramisu night. Years layered graces. I climbed to VP. Ethan's seating reigns gradually. Our dual leadership redefining the firm. Parenthood beckoned via surrogacy, a son. Riley. With Ethan's curls. My hazel gaze. His first steps toward us. Giggles echoing. Crystallized meaning, love's legacy in tiny hands. Through it. That dessert confession echo not shock, but spark. In Ethan's arms, rocking Riley, I knew we'd dessert not just dinner, but destinies intertwined. A tale of two men, one vulnerable utterance, birthing a life profound kitsch tin conquered, romance eternal, humanity affirmed in every heartbeat. Riley's arrival upended our world in the best chaos. At 2 days old, swaddled in the hospital's soft blue, he latched onto Ethan's finger, tiny fist claiming. Our plot twist. Ethan murmured, voice thick, as I snapped photos through tears. Discharge day, buckling him into the Audi's car seat. We drove home slow. Every bump a conspiracy against sleep. Wicker Park welcomed us with balloons from Lila. A freezer stocked by TM Community's embrace tangible. Newborn fog descended, colic cries piercing nights. Diaper dashes blurring days. Ethan, ever the strategist. Charted feeds. I, the empath, soothed with lullabies from my Milwaukee youth. Sleepless. We'd trade shifts, collapsing into each other at dawn quick. Grateful intimacies amid burp cloths. We're a team. He'd affirm, kissing formula stains from my shirt. Parenting's kitsch, tin hit early. Riley's first fever spiked at 3 months. Tar dash and midnight rain. Ethan's white-knuckled grip on the wheel. Pediatrician's calm viral. Monitor eased us. But aftermath unearthed fears. What if I mess him up? Like Dad did me. Ethan confessed, rocking Riley in the nursery's moonlight. I knelt beside, hand on knee. We break cycles with love. Look at you shielding him already. Milestones mounted joys, first smile cooing at Ethan's tickles, rolling over on my chest during story time. Family visits layered bonds me parents doting as grandparents. Mom knitting booties. Jordan relocating nearby. Uncle Judy's earnest. Ethan's mom, remarried to a gentle artist. FaceTimed weekly. Her pride a balm on old aches. Work recalibrated. I took paternity leave first. Ethan covering seamlessly his board presentation on inclusive leadership, woven with subtle Riley anecdotes. Returning, I juggled calls with playdates. Pride swelling at Ethan's baby-worn ties. A client retreat forced separation solo with Riley. Video calls our lifeline. Daddy's beard scratchy. I'd narrate. Ethan chuckling from afar. Reunion airport hug crushed us. Riley's glee bridging miles. Emotional depths plumbed further. Therapy continued. Now family-focused. Unpacking my HIV journey for Riley's future talks. Transparency builds trust. Our counselor urged. Ethan shared bisexuality books. Normalizing fluidity. At a park picnic. Overhearing Dad's gripe, gay agenda. Ethan interjected calm, just agenda of joy. Ripple effect. Inspired chats with other parents. Alliances forged. Romance required intention. Date nights evolved babysitter Lila in tow. We recaptured sparks at jazz clubs. Slow dances whispering vows anew. Anniversary marked 5 years. Vow renewal at our wedding barn. Riley flower boy in tiny suspenders. Still my north. I teased. Always south to complete circle. But Gaykin crept in shadows. A school enrollment wait list sparked debates public versus Progressive Academy. Ethan's push for the latter clashed my tough it out ethos. Arguments flared over dinner. Riley's babble underscoring stakes. I won't let biases bruise him. Ethan insisted. Compromise, hybrid. Advocacy over avoidance. Makeup in the laundry room. Steam from dryer veiling kisses. We laughed at our fervor. Fathers of the Year. He quipped. Summer camp trial run tested waters. Dropping Riley at 3. His wail echoed as we drove a Wega trench guilt. Pickup tales enthralled, mud pies. New pals. Missed you. Daddies. He lisped. And we melted. Ethan's promotion to CEO formalized then. Gala speech dedicating to my husband's blood and chosen. Fall brought fevers of another sort, flu season sidelining us. Work deadlines looming. I burned midnight oil on a pitch. Ethan tag-teaming baths. Crisis peaked when a storm downed power. Candles flickering as we sang Riley to sleep. Adventures. Ethan framed, pulling me close post-bedtime. Lovemaking rediscovered urgency, reaffirming us amid entropy. Winter holidays, ho-ho traditions, tree trimming with Milwaukee kin. Ethan's Iowa roots in gingerbread barns. Riley's wonder at lights mirrored our slove's luminescence, enduring. New Year's. Clinking mugs of cocoa. We toasted to confessions that birth families. Riley's toddler tyranny charmed, potty triumphs cheered with dances. Tantrums diffused with hugs. His questions pierced, why two daddies? Ethan fielded first, because love multiplies. Pride swelled. Tears Pricadour story. Simplified for small ears. Yet vulnerability visited. Ethan's checkup flagged high cholesterol lifestyle tweak. Not alarm. Still, it stirred mortality talks, was updated. Guardians named Lila and Jordan. For him. We agreed. But nights held tighter. Cherishing now. Spring's renewal echoed in Riley's park romps. Ethan's garden plots tomatoes thriving like our resolve. A queer dads group connected us. Sharing war stories over brews. You're naturals, a veteran said. And we believed it. Preschool loomed. A gateway to bigger worlds. Riley's enrollment at the Progressive Co-op buzzed excitement, backpack monogrammed. First day jitters, ours more than his. Drop-off kiss, be brave. Buddy. His wave from the doorframe. Curls bouncing. Tugged heartstrings. Pickup tails tumbled, finger paints. Circle songs about all kinds of families. Ethan's grin, our kind's the best. Work's ascent paralleled. My VP role spearheaded diversity initiatives panels on LGBTQ plus inclusion. Drawing queer talent. Ethan's keynote at a tech summit went viral. Innovation thrives in authenticity. Backstage high five evolved to hotel quickie. Celebrating unscripted. Power couple. He teased. Ty Askew. Family expansions whispered. Lila's engagement to her partner, Sam, sparked wedding fever, our barn as venue redux. We hosted their shower. Riley ring bearer in training. Scattering petals with glee. Jordan's visit overlapped. His tales of counseling, queer youth inspiring. Like many youths. He joked. Ethan punching shoulder. Emotional tempests brewed subtly. My annual HIV lab's perfect. But a news blip on rising stigma reignited shadows. Riley hear that. I fretted. Ethan curated books, and tango makes three. Normalizing nests. Bedtime reads became rituals. His voice lulling us all. Kitsch 10 ignited externally. A hacker breach at Hale Innovations leaked email source innocuous. But fodder for tabloids. Headlines screamed, CEO's secret affair. Old news twisted salacious. Boardroom frenzy. Ethan's statement poised, my marriage is public pride. Media storm passed. But ripples hit homeschool pickup stairs. Riley's innocent, why pictures of daddies? We countered with openness, family photos on desk. Storytime on being seen. Lila's art therapy session for him drew rainbow's resilience in crayons. Romance refueled and escapes. Weekend getaway to Door County cabin by the bay. Riley splashing shallows. We kayaking at dusk. Remember our first hike? Ethan murmured. Oars dipping sink. Evolution. I replied. Lips brushing. Nights. Riley asleep. We recaptured wildness, stargazing turning stellar. Fall's harvest yielded bounties. Riley's preschool playtree in the Giving Tree stole show. Ethan's camcorder capturing every bow. Post-show dinner. Toasts to growth. My promotion to SVP followed. Ethan's champagne toast private. Knew you'd eclipse me. Winter wove cozies. Holiday cards featured us, 3 snowman Riley. Scarf clad. Ethan's mom visited. Baking with Graham duties. My folks Skyped carols. New Year's resolution, more us time. Enforced by monthly confession dates, no agenda. Just truths. Gaken crested in micro, Riley's first crush. A classmate, like me but girl. Hearts pick who they pick. Ethan coached. My chuckle hiding parallel memories. Guidance gentle. Fostering acceptance early. Spring bloomed collaborations. We co-authored an op-ed on queer parenting published in a national mag. Responses pouring gratitude. Your story's lighthouse. One reader wrote. Impact humbled. Ethan's squeezing hand under table. Summer's heat hatched plans. Family road trip to Iowa. Ethan's roots reclaimed. Farm stay milking cows. Corn maze chases Riley's awe at Uncle Ethan's old house. Bonfire night. Jordan joined. Siblings reconciling fully. Full circle. Ethan whispered. Arm around me. Back Chicago. Routine re-anchored. Riley's swim lessons splash joy. My MBA capstone aced. Ethan's proud grill out. Vulnerability shared. His occasional bi-curiosity pang, not doubt. Just wholeness. Explore with me. I encouraged. Trust's gift. Fall's foliage framed firsts, Riley's bike wobble. Our tandem cheers. School conference praised his empathy, kind to all. Ethan's teary nod. Takes after you. Elementary whispers arrived. Kindergarten's threshold, a monumental step. Uniform shopping turned adventure Riley modeling polos. Us debating Velcro versus ties. First day. Backpack bulging. He marched in brave. Our porch wave lingering long after. He'll thrive. Ethan assured. But my throat tightened, another tether loosening. Career crescendos aligned. Ethan's firm acquired a queer-led startup. Merger toast featuring Riley's crayon deal art. My diversity program won awards. Panel invites surging. Dynamic duo. A reporter quipped. Our joint interview unveiling synergy. Love fuels leadership. Family fabrics thickened. Lila's wedding at our barn, Riley flower boy nailing steps. Jordan best man roasting sweetly. Vows exchanged under oaks. Sam's ring glinting like ours. Reception dance, Ethan twirling me. Whispering our sequel. Emotional explorations deepened. Riley's questions evolved. Why no mommy? Ethan fielded. Family shaped like puzzles, ours fits perfect. Bookshelves groaned with tales. Therapy tuned our tells. My HIV advocacy grew speaking at clinics. Ethan's arm steadfast. Kitsch tin flared in forums. A parents' group meeting soured bigot dads rant on traditional values. Ethan's rebuttal calm fire. Tradition evolves. Love's the constant. Backlash emails. But solidarity swelled petitions. Ally letters. Riley's input. Daddy's fight fair. Romance rituals evolved. Anniversary 10-year. Vow renewal intimate. Rooftop with string lights. Riley officiant in pajamas. Still yes. I queried. Amplified. He vowed. Kiss ceiling. Fall's chill brought challenges. Riley's bully encounter taunt freak family crushed him home teary. We huddled. Ice cream council. Role play responses. School intervention followed. Counselor praising our proactivity. Empowered. She said. Ethan's late night vent. Hate it'll touch him. My hold. But we'll armor with love. Winter's hush healed. Holiday lights tour. Riley's awe at magic. Ethan's surprise. Weekend at A-Frame in Upper Peninsula. Snowshoeing. Cocoa by fire. Recharge. He said. Making snow angels turning to snow kisses.